Hello everyone, welcome to a new process video today, and I'm super excited because I am starting my Europe photos. In July, I came back August 1st. I went to 3 different countries in Europe. I went to Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic, and my intent is to do them in that order, meaning that I start with Germany, then I'll do Austria, then I'll do the Czech Republic. It will be 3 separate albums. And I have my opening page here. And one of the problems that I know I already have is that I have to keep this album very thin. I can't add an insane amount of bulk because I'm going to have so many page protectors in there that it's going to kind of already be at the max. So I have to be careful. So I've already decided that for my background paper, I just use a piece of plain white paper. This is not copier paper. But what it is it's the insert paper that you get sometimes when you buy 12 by 12 page protectors. I always pull those out and save them just for whatever, and it has come in handy here. So I just cut one to 6 by 8, so that makes my background a little bit thinner since it's not full cardstock. And then the next thing I did was I printed out this map. I just used Google Maps, and what I did was I put in our starting point and then showed where we went along the way. So we flew into Munich, so that's our first stop. Spent time there, then we went into Austria, and I even have the train stations on here that we actually stopped in, which was fun. And so I just did it that way. The only problem with this, though, is if I put it to public transportation, it changed this. It went really wonky. So I had to put it back to as if I were driving, and I couldn't get rid of this. I don't know how to not have that show. So I'm gonna have to cover that up somehow because obviously I don't want that. It wasn't 14 hours. We were gone 10 days to do all this. So I need to cover that up. So that's one of my jobs I need to do. I also want to have some kind of background paper here layering. That's another reason why I want this white paper to be thin, because I do need to mount this on something. And I'm thinking yellow, maybe, because of this. I think green might work. I just don't want to overdo it. So I'm thinking yellow, kind of goldish yellow because of this. And then other than that, I don't know. We'll just see what happens. I went into my stash and I found 2 things that I think I can use here. One is this piece of pattern paper. It was already cut to 6 by 6, and I don't remember if I cut it or if it came that way, like in a paper pad or something. I really don't remember where I got the paper, sorry. But it's 6 by 6, so it works. I don't need to trim it or anything. It can go on there. And then I found this in my little bag of phrases. This will work because not only does it say vacation, but hopefully, if I've chosen my size correctly, I can use it to kind of cover up that driving distance and time thing. So I'll have to, oh, it barely fits. I will have to get creative if I want it centered or more off to the side. I don't know, but it will work. Luckily, the width is okay and it will cover that. So I can at least get started with those 2 things. So I adhered this, and then I also decided to ink around the edges on the yellow paper, and I used this ink. It's So Saffron from Stampin' Up. So this is one of my favorites. It's old and well loved. So I did ink the edges, and then I did adhere this. I strategically placed it over that part I didn't want to show, and I'm happy with the placement there, so that's good. And I'm trying to decide now, do I want this kind of up here so I have room to stamp? Do I want it here with the room at the top? There's going to be a title here of some type, and I'm thinking it would look better to have title and then the map a little bit centered more to the top, and then this more open so I can stamp maybe in this corner or add something here. I'm not sure. You know what? Yes, I am sure. When I'm looking at this, I like it the way that it's placed there, so I'll adhere it like this. All right, so looking at that, loving it. Everything's adhered here. I found something for the title, however, it's bulky. After I said I gotta cut down on that, which I know I do, I found this in my stuff. It matches because it's green, and I believe this one is from Color Cast Designs, if I'm not mistaken. and it was in my travel stash of stuff and I really want to use it. So, I mean, you can see it's fairly thin. It's not as bulky as some other acrylics that I've seen, but it will add some bulk to it. But I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway because I love it. So I'm going to put it up here. And because the spaces between these letters, these are pretty narrow, I am going to use this, my Tombow multi-liquid glue. A little bit of this goes a long way, and it looks white when it goes on, but it dries clear, so that's perfect. So if I smudge a little bit, put a little bit too much on, no big deal because it'll be clear when it dries. So as you can see, I've got the glue on there. That's why it's still white and you can see it. And then I'm going to place it down where I want it. This is always the tricky part. There is a little bit of give, so if I get it not perfectly centered and I want to move it, I can. It won't really hurt anything. It's a little crooked. How about that? Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, so I have to let that dry, obviously, a little bit there. In the meantime, though, I will figure out what I want to do with this bottom portion. And when I was off camera the last time, I found this and was thinking I would use it. But now that I see the proportions of it with all of this, it doesn't work. It's too big. But I like the blue. So I think I'm going to try to find something else that's similar to this blue to bring it in down here. Plus still maybe stamp, not sure. Depends on what I find. But this is out and I'll find something new. I found something in my stickers that I want to use. I have this pack here from Paper House that's all travel related stuff. And I found this one. So it's similar to what I had. It's still a passport and it's still blue, but it's much smaller. So I think I'm going to use that, and I am going to probably put it here more to the left to kind of even out the fact that this is slightly more to the right. And then I could still stamp there or even down here. I don't know, but I am going to use that sticker. From that same sticker pack, I also found this. It's not the same green, but I think it's close enough to the green that's in the map that I can get away with it. So I think I'm going to use that as well, and maybe just place it like this next to the passport. Yeah, I like it. All right. Does it need anything else? That's the question. Maybe a thin strip of washi here or here. And if so, what color? I've got kind of the blue and navy going. Black, maybe black, because this is the only black thing I have other than the print here. Maybe black. Let me see what I can find. Well, I didn't have a ton of options for thin black washi. This was kind of it. So holding it up there, it doesn't look bad, but I wouldn't use a lot of it. Let's just try it. It's washi, so I can remove it if I don't like it. So maybe if I just do a little bit of overlap here, we don't want to go crazy with it. Tuck up behind, see what I think. It's okay. It doesn't bother me. And now I'm wondering though, do I need a little piece up here too, just to be opposite of that corner, but much, much smaller, just a tiny bit maybe? Like so. Do I like it? Do I not like it? You know what? I'm going to leave it for now and live with it. If it gets to a point where eventually I'm like, I don't like that, I can always remove it because it's washi. But for now, I'm okay with it. It's all happens to be in a line here. And so that will lead the eye across the page, which is great. And then I still have this over here. So you know what? I'm going to leave it as is. Thanks for joining me, guys, to watch me put this one together. I'm so excited because it's my first page that gets me into doing my Europe photos from this year. So I'm very excited. I hope you'll join me to watch as I do the rest of the layouts as well. Thanks, everybody.